Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Agarwal Industrial Corporation Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Hem Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then zero on your touchtone telephone. Please note this conference is being recorded. I would now like to hand over the floor to Ms. Astha Jain from Hem Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Momita. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining the Agarwal Industrial Corporation Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. Joining us on the call today are senior members of the management team, Mr. Lalit Agarwal, Whole-time Director, and Mr. Vipin Agarwal, Chief Financial Officer. We will commence the call with the opening thoughts from the management team, post which we will open the forum for Q&A session, where the management will be glad to respond to any queries that you may have. At this point, I would like to add that some of the statements made or discussed on the conference call may be forward-looking in nature. The actual results may vary from these forward-looking statements. I would now like to hand over the call to Mr. Vipin Agarwal to commence by sharing his thoughts on the performance and strategic progress made by the company. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, and a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined us today. I take the pleasure of welcoming you all to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of Agarwal Industrial Corporation Limited. Let me first start by giving you a brief overview of the company's business, and will then take you through the financials of the company. We'll then be happy to take questions if you have any. Agarwal Industrial Corporation is one of the largest integrated bitumen players in India. We have developed a wide range of innovative bitumen products that are used in various construction of roads and waterproofing solutions. The same product is also used in the color industries and the ink industries. We are among the few players in India who provides customers with last mile connectivity through our own fleet of vessels. We import raw material, own manufacturing plants to supply various bituminous products, and storage facilities across the Indian ports to cater the demand, and our own road transportation vehicles to deliver bitumen to customers at the plant site. Today, our group is owning about 650 bitumen and LPG tankers and 5 bulk vessels, which sets apart in the bitumen industry. We, along with our subsidiaries, have 6 manufacturing facilities located across Taloja, Vadodara, Belgaum, Hyderabad, Guwahati, and Kochi. We have 7 bulk storage terminals located at Hazira, Mumbai, Dighi, Haldia, Mangalore, Karwar, and Vadodara. Now I would like to take you to the second quarter of the company's financials 2022. We have reported a revenue of 158 crores, 158.94 crores, which is 67% higher compared to 95.14 crores in the Q2 FY 2021, and rupees 427.98 lakhs in profit, which is 96.85% higher compared to rupees 217.41 lakhs in the Q2 FY 2021. We reported an EBITDA of rupees 1301.71 lakhs in the Q2 F 2022 as compared to rupees 933.98 lakhs in Q2 FY 2021. In terms of H1 F 22, our total revenues have grown by 134% to rupees 56,818 lakhs as compared to 24,305 lakhs in H1 F 21. Our EBITDA for H1 FY22 increased by 109% and stood at rupees 3,852 lakhs, whereas our PAT for the same period grew to 214% and stood at rupees 1,935 lakhs. Our return on capital employed for the full financial year 2021 was around 18%, which in this first 6 months stood at 7.5% without annualization. in September 21, we paid a dividend of rupees 1.80 per equity share, which is 20% higher of what we declared last year. In terms of volume, we have in the first half year, last year we had done close to 110,000 metric tons, which in the first half of 2022 we have done about 146,000 metric tons. Further, I would like to add that the demand trend continues to be favorable across the infrastructure industry, which is quite exciting for us. The market for the roads and the highways is projected to exhibit a CAGR of 36% during 2016 and to 2025. India is the second largest road network in the world at about 62.16 lakh kilometers, and the government of India has allocated rupees 111 lakh crores under the NIP for financial year 2019-25. At the last, I would like to say that we continue to demonstrate profitable performance in the long term to the relentless focus on leveraging our 2 decades of experience in bitumen and logistics. That concludes my opening remarks, and I would request the moderator to open the forum for questions from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. Participants are requested to restrict to 2 questions per person in the initial round and may come back for follow-up questions. So our first question from Mr. Pavan Kumar from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, what were the volumes of bitumen that were done this particular quarter, and what has been the year-on-year volume growth?
See, firstly, in the current financial year, in the first half, we have done close to 146,000 metric tons, which last year stood at 110,000. So whatever, 110,000.
Okay. But sir,
and we expected in the year on a year-on-year basis. Last year we had done close to 2.5 lakh thousand, which we expect to increase by 25%.
Okay. But sir, the first half, if I'm right, you had done some 74,000. So that means basically in this particular quarter also we did 72,000, is it?
No. The first quarter we had done close to 110,000 tons. So whatever volume we had done last year in the first half, this year we have done that in the first quarter itself.
Okay, first quarter was 110,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. This, sir, this is more of a question on the business, in the sense. So, who are your competitors in terms of what should I say, manufacturing, and also when you are saying you are competing on the orders, is it on a fixed price orders that you bid for, or is it like how does the bidding go forward?
Yeah. I will give the answer, right? In bitumen, there is a fortnightly change of prices, which changes every fortnight. So we don't take any orders on a fixed contract. It is always all the prices of the bitumen is linked to the refinery prices in the area that we are operating, nearest refinery, and the discounts are being offered on the prices which are revised every fortnight. So if I am giving a 4,000 rupee discount today, that will continue until it is withdrawn for the next fortnight on whatever listed prices of the PSU.
Okay. And how much? What is the time lag between you ordering the bitumen and it landing with you?
About, you can say about 7 to 10 days. It's about 7 to 10 days. The cycle is very small here.
Okay. And for those 7 to 10 days, you would be taking the inventory risk on that particular raw material, right?
Yeah, it's a fixed turnaround. So there is always some product in the sea that is being moved to various locations. So we are keeping inventory for at least 10 to 15 days so that we don't run dry.
Okay. Okay. And on the competition side, so the competitors would be basically procuring the raw materials. I am talking about the oil marketing companies. So they are procuring the raw material from domestically, or they from their own.
Refineries are usually manufacturing bitumen, so they purchase crude and then they manufacture different petroleum products like diesel, petrol, and all those products, and then the last product that they produce is bitumen. So for them, there is a totally different manufacturing cycle, and the raw material is not bitumen but the crude oil that they purchase. And competition side, what you are wanting to know is, see, we are the only integrated bitumen player in India who is having all the various modes of supplying under one roof. We have our own vessel to procure the product firstly from the source location. We are transporting through our own vessels. We have our own import locations to store that product. We have our own distribution, lorries to distribute that product to the end user. And we manufacture other bituminous products also for them.
Okay. Okay.
One point solution for entire requirement of a bitumen product.
Okay. Did I hear it right that you rather import crude oil?
No, we do not. PSUs are importing crude oil. We import bitumen, only imported.
Okay, okay. And one last question: is there a substitute, for example, for PSUs, oil marketing companies? Do they manufacture bitumen, or is there any substitute product which fetches them higher value, hence they don't manufacture bitumen entirely?
Yeah. See, if you can just go through the Google also, the Indian PSU's production capacity is about 5 to 5.5 million tons in a year, which is going ahead is going to go down because they have restriction in terms of increasing the production capacity. Moreover, they have all the big plants of the PSUs have moved and converted to coker. So they are in fact manufacturing coke, which gives them a higher yield than manufacturing bitumen. In fact, we are supplying to PSUs.
Okay. And the coke, you mean the pet coke, or is it?
Pet coke, yes, pet coke.
They are manufacturing pet coke instead. So you can either manufacture bitumen or you can get into pet coke also, is it?
Once you manufacture bitumen, further you can process it to pet coke, which gives them the higher yield than bitumen in today.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you. I'll get back in the queue.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Our next question from Mr. Hitanshu Bhatia. He's an individual investor. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I have two questions. One is regarding to our chartering segment.
Okay.
There has been an overall freight charge rise in the expenses of chartering all over, I suppose. So have we also, foreseen, or have we also seen any increase in our chartering revenues and freight revenues, or especially from the month of September?
Yeah, see, if you have noticed, the petroleum prices have been on a higher side in the last, especially the second half of this year.
Yeah.
So due to the rising in the fuel cost, the expenses on the shipping side have increased compared to the revenues that should have been increased. Moreover, due to the season, second half is usually a low demand season for this sector across various countries as well.
So, but then so would we be expecting higher revenues from the chartering segment as the quarters pass by? Because
Q3 and Q4 will be on the higher side in terms of revenue and in terms of on the bottom. It should be higher.
Okay. And sir, could you also please give me the EBITDA and profit and loss margins of our Agarwal Translink subsidiary, please?
Of the second half of the Q2?
For the current quarter or the second half entirely, of the first half, I mean.
Let me give it to you, please. Yeah. In the current period, we have you want the second half, right?
Yeah, for the current quarter or the first half, yeah.
For the current first half, the total revenues are standing at about 34 crore rupees.
Okay.
And a profit of about, say, after the interest and tax of over 50 lakh rupees.
Okay, sir. And sir, with regards to our margin, are we going to see any good? I mean, what are the efforts from our side to increase our margin level, since we are the only bitumen supplier, I think the major supplier in our country. So, do we have a major pricing power? Should we expect higher margins from here on? How do we go about it?
Basically, it is a commodity. So, in terms of percentage, if you compare a bitumen, any commodity product, I think that would not give the correct picture, because the more volume you do, the higher profitability you can get. But in terms of margin, on the terms of percentage, it cannot remain same, because once you are going on for an increase in volume, you have to pass on an additional discount to your current suppliers or your customers. Okay. In terms of absolute terms, yes, the figure, say, if it is 10 crores, it can go to 15 crores if my volume is increasing. But in percentage terms, it may not remain same every time.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Because it's some of the products are being traded, and trading is not same as manufacturing or other businesses where the percentage of revenues or profit remains the same.
Yeah. Okay, sir. And sir, are we also looking forward to get into pet coke as a follow-up to the previous answer that
it requires a big manufacturing plant itself, which is very capex oriented, and moreover it is not our cup of tea as of now.
Okay. All the best for the coming quarter, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our next question from Mr. S.K. Jain from Westbridge. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi. I'm not from Westbridge, just as a clarification. But my question was, I just wanted to understand, do you do any manufacturing yourself? You mentioned you have manufacturing plants. Or is it that you are largely importing and then supplying to the end customer? So if you can just clarify, if manufacturing you do, what specific manufacturing do you do?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the question. See, bitumen, if you are purchasing from any Indian refinery, there are various grades that you can purchase. The basic grade is VG10. If you have to buy from an Indian refinery, then you can buy VG10 and manufacture VG30, VG40 and other industrial grades. And that is sold to the end user. Whereas when you are importing, you get the same product in the international market at the same price. So whatever import we are doing, it is actually a finished product that we can manufacture from any of our manufacturing plants, like VG30, VG40. So that is a finished product that is actually required to make any road. Mostly it goes into the construction of the road. That a grade VG10 will be manufactured to VG30, VG40. If we have to buy from an Indian PSU, then the cost also is higher. And when you are importing the product, the prices in the international market for VG30 or VG40 remains almost the same, and we bring it to an import location where we can sell it directly to the end user instead of taking it from the plant first, manufacturing and incurring the additional logistics.
Okay. So I guess it looks like you have a choice to make whether you import directly the industrial
Yes.
grade from outside or procure, and you decide that based on the pricing. What's the differential? Which is
Pricing and the
more
requirement of the
optimal?
product, in which location the product is required. Suppose it is required in the eastern part. So the eastern part, we have a location close by like Haldia, where you can import the same product. But if I have to take it, then I would have to take it to my Hyderabad plant first. In Hyderabad also, Telangana, there is no nearby refinery. It is only Vizag, or you have to come back to Mumbai. You have to take the product from Mumbai to your plant, manufacture, and then supply to Haldia, which is a very highly logistics cost will be there compared to importing the same product and supplying it.
That's actually helpful. And what if you do, take it from the Indian PSU? How long is your manufacturing process? Is it
It's hardly 12 hours. Once the plant it reaches the plant, it's hardly 12 hours to manufacture any industrial grade or any other viscosity grades.
Okay, that's helpful.
It is only on the basis of logistics that is cost very very highly cost effective that we have to bring the product to various locations.
Okay, I understand. And then your customers, are these mostly the road EPC guys? Are they your main customers, or who are your main customers?
Only the volume of bitumen goes into road construction only.
Right. So I'm assuming it is the EPC guys, right? Who, so whoever is constructing the road will come in and get it from you guys, right?
Basically, not only they can be the state road highways or the PWD, any other work it can be.
Okay. And so just my question where I was leading to it was on your customer side, how much is bought by government and how much is bought by, private EPC guys?
It's actually the 100%, as on date, if I can say, 100% is going into private guys only, but they are all being given contract by the government. The government does not buy any bitumen directly.
Okay.
They only award the road works to different companies who are purchasing bitumen, say, from us or maybe any other player.
And what are your typical payment terms? So how, the kind of receivable cycles for you?
As on date, if you say it is about 61 days or about 55 days, which earlier used to be about 90 days.
Okay.
Because of the seasonal demand. So in the 4 months when we don't do any business, we have to count that cycle also in the receivables that we have.
Okay.
Usually we do not offer more than 21 or 30 days credit to any of our customers.
Okay. That's actually super helpful. I understand. And then maybe, so maybe I don't fully understand your business. I think you mentioned about the chartering business. Is that separate from bitumen? Is that things apart from bitumen that you are chartering, or is that only bitumen?
All the vessels are used to charter for bitumen, transporting bitumen only. We can transport other products in the same on the same vessels, but 90-95% of these vessels are usually used to carry bitumen only.
So if they're doing bitumen only, then is it just that then it's effectively their in some ways internal part of the operation? So I was not understanding when you give their revenue separately, what does that mean?
The vessels are purely running in the subsidiary that we have in UAE, and all the vessels are given on a charter to third party.
Okay.
On a voyage charter to a third party. So that's the reason the revenues of that chartering business is separate in UAE, and the profitability also is on the separate side in UAE.
But wouldn't that become a cost to you? Because I'm just saying, hey,
no, because anyways, when we are bringing any vessel, that cost is always there. Whether we bring it from our own vessel or from through other vessel, that cost will always be there. You cannot have any asset which is not contributing to your profitability.
No. What I meant was that is this when you do consolidation, won't that kind of get knocked off? Because, if it's your subsidiary which is transporting and eventually, I suppose you as the main company sells that bitumen, isn't that, intercompany revenues which will get knocked off? Or maybe...
It's not necessarily that the vessel is coming to me. I am giving it to third parties.
Oh, acha. Oh, you're giving it to third parties also. Okay.
I am giving it to third parties. Most of the time it is going to third parties.
Acha. Okay. I probably didn't appreciate that part. No, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No further questions.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our next question from Mr. Pratish Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, I wanted to check. You mentioned that bitumen production in India is 5 million tons, right?
About 5 to 5.5 million tons in India of the PSUs.
And what we did is about 370,000 last year, right?
About 3 lakh. 275. About 275.
That was last year.
Yes.
And already we have done about 220,000 in H1.
No, 146,000.
So you did 110 in quarter 1 or?
110 was in last year first half, and about 146, 147 in this year's first half.
Okay. Now my question is with respect to the absolute profitability. For the volume increase, the absolute profitability is completely different, and also the size of the company, what I see in the recent quarters, let's say about 7-8 quarters back, and what we see today is a significantly larger size. So if you could help us understand what is this change?
Sorry, there is some echo, I guess. Can you repeat the question first? Again, please.
Yes, sir. Is it clear now?
Yeah.
Okay. I was just asking that in terms of the absolute profitability of the company, it's a fairly larger number versus what we had been doing in the recent past.
Yeah.
So is there any larger scale-up of volumes that we have gone through or any other reason for the change in the absolute profitability?
See, basically, when you're increasing your volume, I think that absolute value will automatically add in because the fixed cost of the the tankages that we have or any other plant that is running, even if you are doing 10,000 tons, your cost is going to remain the same. And whether you do 1 lakh tons, hardly the operating cost is increasing by say 10% or 15%. In terms of absolute values, yes. When you're doing higher volumes, your profitability tends to increase because your fixed costs are on the constant side.
Okay. So let's say about 2 years back, were we doing half of the volumes what we are doing today?
Yes. If you want, I have the figures with me. I think I'm not wrong.
When I see, let's say, in FY18, your quarterly profitability used to be 8-9 crores. If I go ahead of that, it used to be 8-9 crores.
See, last year we had done, I'm so sorry, I gave you the figures for 19-20, about 2,82,000. Last year we had done about 3,25,000 tons. So it was an increase of about, say, 20% in the last year also.
Okay.
We were sitting at about...
Yes, sir, go ahead, sorry.
19-20 we were sitting at about 280. In the year 2021 we were sitting at about 325. And this year again we are targeting of increasing that percentage by say 20-25%. It should be higher.
Okay. Sir, what is the capacity utilization that we are running? Because even at this scale of operation, our ROC is very less.
ROC is less?
Yeah.
See, as on date also, all the import locations that we are having, it is almost, say, you can say, if you leave about if you consider the season, 4 months that we are not working, it is about, say, 60% of the total capacity that we are having. And if you say in the months that we are working, sometimes we are overutilizing the tanks that we are having.
So if you exclude those 4 months,
that 4 months is actually cannot be explored because there's heavy monsoons, in India. Year on year, the monsoons, the intensity of monsoons have been increasing.
So we have to take the utilization actually of the balance 2 quarters, which is actually quarter 3 and quarter 4.
That is where we are focusing on. So every year when we are increasing the volume, the cost is not increasing to a great percentage. It is only the bottom that is increasing.
So what, we would be 100% utilized in quarter 3 and quarter 4?
Yes. In fact, we are using, sometimes we are using over 100% of some of our tankage that we are having.
Okay. And lastly, sir, when we are growing at, let's say, 25%, and we did grow 10% in the past also, road construction activity did not grow at that pace. So are we taking market share from some other supplier of bitumen?
Even if we are not taking anyone's share, because I cannot tell you that whether we have taken anyone's share, but even if we are not taking any other competitor's share, the demand of bitumen is such that automatically when you are selling my own customers are having a higher demand for the bitumen. And if I sold 3 lakh tons last year, automatically 20% it is going to my existing customers itself.
Okay.
Because the increase in infrastructure activities.
Okay.
Even if I don't capture anyone else's market, my market share is increasing because of the infrastructure activities that are going on at a very good pace.
And other than OMC, any independent bitumen supplier like us, and what would be size?
So there are small suppliers in the Indian market, but that does not contribute anything in terms of market share or something like that. There are few players, but the second player in that we have in India is doing half the volume that what we are doing.
Okay. And sir, incremental capex if we do in this business, what is the capex that you would have to incur for a certain capacity, and what in your opinion is the payback period for it?
If you have had a look at our financials, for the last 2-3 years, I think every year we have been doing a capex of about 50 crore rupees, and that is all being funded from the internal accruals that we are having, more or less. We have acquired 5 vessels in the last 2 years, which has all been funded by the companies, mainly by the internal accruals of the company.
And for what kind of capacity does it have, this 50 crore?
I don't need the capacity that we are having at the various ports. To increase the volume, I do not think that we require any capex in terms of adding any storage facility. But yes, what we are looking at adding different locations to cater for a new market. Example, we will be starting in Chennai. That would be a new market to cater to.
But you need tankage, right? On the port, you need tankage, you need vessels.
Tankages, yes. But plant-wise, we have added a storage tankage facility in Vadodara last year. And this year we have added a tankage space to our Taloja plant to increase the volume from the plant.
Suppose if you have to start afresh in a location where you need a tankage, a plant and a vessel, then for a certain capacity, what is the capex that you incur and what will be the payback?
Firstly, we can only hire tankages at different ports, and vessel, you need not purchase anything because we have our own fleet or outside vessels which are already coming. So any vessel can move to that location. So in terms of supply of vessel, we don't have any additional cost yet. In terms of leasing the tank, you'll be having this cost of leasing the tank, which is automatically added to the cost when we are bringing the product and when we are selling the product.
Okay. So in terms of fixed assets, then what do you have in terms of fixed assets?
In terms of fixed assets, we are having the storage facilities, adding the storage facilities at our various plants. And we see as we have capex was going on in the Guwahati plant, the current financials.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'll come back if there's more questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Our next question from Mr. Pavan Kumar from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, do we also import bitumen for other players through our vessels and lorry? And do we use our lorries or trucks to transport for the others too? Or do we only limit them to our own operations itself?
Can you come back again, please?
We said we import only bitumen through our vessels.
Yes.
And also our trucks and lorries. What I was trying to understand was, do we do it for other guys who are supplying bitumen also, or is it limited to your operations only?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, we are giving our vessels to third party only, so they can take the product to any location. And logistics side, we are supplying the LPG fleets that we are having. They are totally compliant and giving their services only to the PSUs. It is being loaded from a LPG storage of a PSU to their bottling plants. And bitumen, we are giving to our own customers mostly, apart from the fleet that is running for the PSU. There are few tankers which are deployed for the transportation of refinery products as well.
Okay. So, is my understanding right when I'm saying vessels are mostly 90-95% for our own use, and on the tanker side, we use some tankers for the LPG distribution?
LPG is 100% with the PSUs. They are loading from their supply locations to bottling plants. So LPG is, all the fleets of LPG 100% deployed with the refineries only, all the 3 PSUs. And vessels, it is not 90% coming to us. I am giving all my vessels on charter to a third party in UAE.
Okay.
He can supply to me also, he can supply to other suppliers in India as well.
Okay. Okay. So, but
I am
no proportion.
Yeah, there is no problem. I have given my vessels on a voyage basis to a third party.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I got that.
Thank you so much.
And one second, sir. So on the working capital side, what is our expectation going forward, since we have seen a sharp decline to 6 in the working capital cycle in the last 2-3 years? Where do we expect it to be over the next 2 to 3 years? Because that has significantly improved your ROC.
Thank you so much for appreciating the same. As far as the facilities of the company is involved, as of now, we are not looking to add anything on the working capital of the company. We have been having the same facilities for last 3 years, and we have been trying to do with the same limits that we are having.
Okay. So you don't expect the working capital days credit or on the inventory side to go up?
Maybe on the capex side, we may plan to take some term loan on the purchasing some of the maybe vessel or any other plan that the company is having, which can improve where we don't require the working capital as such.
Okay. Okay, fine. And lastly, can you share us volumes of Q1 or Q2 last year? Because just for a comparison, I
gave Q1 last year we had done about 75,000 tons.
Okay.
In the same year, Q1 we have done about 110,000 tons.
Okay, I got that. Okay. And in your starting comments, sir, you had mentioned something about some figure of 36% on roads. What was that exactly? I was not.
It is a stage here that where in the Indian, the infrastructure activities that are going on in India, that is the percentage of growth that is expected over the next 4 or 5 years.
Okay. What activities, sir? Sorry?
It is a CAGR of 36% that would be happening, that is being predicted from the year 2016 to 2025.
Okay. For what activities is this CAGR?
Infrastructure activities.
Okay.
Roads and highways.
Okay, fine.
There will be more, the activity is going on in the roads and highways, the more demand of our product will be happening. The CAGR is about 36%, and where we are at only 20-25%. So we need to catch up about 10% to match the CAGR of highways.
Okay. And is there any way to actually contact you, sir, for further understanding your business?
Yeah, you can. We have our website where you can get into contact, or on even through an email on contact@aicltd.in.
Okay.
You can visit our website if you have any queries or if you're requiring any information.
Okay. Fine, sir. I will try and get in touch. I had written to you once, but that's fine.
Whatever we get, I think we've been replying.
Okay. Fine, sir. I will write to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Our next question from Mr. Abhishek Shraddha, he's an individual investor. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hello, sir. Sir, I would understand what is the size of basically bitumen industry in India?
Bitumen size. The Indian bitumen market.
Like what I want to understand is around, you mentioned that PSU's capacity is around 5 to 5.5 million tons, right?
Yeah.
And
that's right.
So I want to understand how much is like captured by PSU of bitumen industry and how much is
whatever PSUs are being manufacturing, they can sell the entire quantity. But there is a big demand and supply gap because of the increasing infrastructure activities in the country. So where the PSU's production is only about 5 to 5.5 million, the demand on date, it is about 8 to 9 million tons.
Okay.
So, and PSUs have a limitations to produce only to that limit. And moreover, in that production limit that they are producing coke sometimes in a particular month, wherever they think that they can get higher revenues or higher yield by selling bitumen or pet coke. So in that particular month, they will manufacture bitumen less. So this demand and gap is being, we are there to bridge this gap between the two.
Yes, sir. So basically there is a gap of around, what I can understand, there is a gap of around 2.5 to 3 million ton, right? In supply and
3 million is very comfortable to say yes. 3 million definitely it is there. But it is higher than 3 million also.
And at present, how much of this gap is like covered by private players?
Last year the import was about 2.5 million tons.
5 million tons. Okay, fine. And we are like around 18%.
Grow by
as you mentioned,
20%.
18 to 20%.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. And the next player is around half of this.
Yeah. The next player that is there in this industry is almost half. Not half, but you can say 60% easily.
Okay.
Even I think the data are there in the Google, I guess. If you can just go search on the Google, I think you can get the figures also.
Okay, sir. We can check that. And another thing that I want to understand now, sir, since 2 quarters have passed, and I think this is the seasonally the weakest quarter of yours, Q2 FY22, like the quarter 2. And now next 2 quarters, so what are your expectations, and if you can like quantify some guidance, revenue and margin guidance?
See, these 2 quarters are actually, they contribute to a great extent in terms of volume and turnover, if you say. Q4 has been a quarter which contributes highest even in the terms of volume and at the bottom side, if we have seen the past record of the company. And Q3 has been fairly good in the last 2 years.
Okay. Okay.
Q3 last year, we had done about 19 we had done about 20,000 tons, wherein last year, no, 19 Q3 we had done about 57,000 tons, and 20 we had done 76,000 tons, which is expected to go by 20% this year.
Okay, sir. 20% by this year. So around
Yeah.
it would be, we can like estimate around 90.
90, yes, easily we should reach 90,000 easily.
90. And for Q4, any estimate?
Q4, I think the balance target we have to do in the Q4 that we have.
Your target is like around 25% greater than last
Last
year,
year, yeah.
as you mentioned.
400,000 tons, and if we are
400.
doing 2.5 100,000 in the first 3 quarters, so balance 1.5 or 1 or 2 lakh tons we have to complete in Q4, which is very much possible. Because all the roadworks at the peak in those Q4 cycle.
Right. And sir, like our operating margins have shrunk in this quarter.
In terms of percentage, if you say, maybe yes, but in terms of absolute value, I will not say that it has shrunk, because even in the low season that we Q2, which is usually weak, we have had good numbers this year.
It shrank by around, I think, 150 basis points in this
1%.
quarter.
1%.
1%. So basically, majorly due to the higher freight cost?
No, because in the cyclic season, the cost is the same. The volume, if you're not able to do that volume, your margins tend to shrink. And moreover, on the other side, petroleum cost has gone up.
Understand, sir. Understand. And
that
sir,
what kind of,
yes.
In the logistics side, if you consider where we were doing logistics, say at 80 rupees per liter for the diesel, we have been doing at 100 rupees. So that small increase in the fuel rate or maybe the other petroleum products, this is where the slight decrease has happened in terms of operating profit.
So basically, once we see an uptick in terms of volume, operating margins will be improved automatically, right?
I think you will be able to see that in the Q3 and Q4.
Okay, nice, sir. Thank you. And sir, one more thing that I want to understand. You mentioned that most of your product is most of your clients are private players, right?
Yeah, private players. Yes.
And you get these orders by government.
No, we don't get the orders by the government. The private players or any other road contractor, they are getting work orders from the government to make any road,
right.
Maybe highways and national highways or PWD, anything. We supply to these people.
You supply to these people. So, can you mention what is your client concentration? Like, how much of your revenue comes from your top 1 client and top 5 client, if you can give?
My top clients percentage in terms of percentage would be about, say, 3-4%. We have equally distributed our...
that is very much diversified, right?
Yeah, we are not dependent on a single, customer at all.
Yes, sir. That's what I want to understand. And about top 5 clients, it would be around 15 to 20% if it is...
Yes, because every year maybe one of your clients may have less work, other customer may have higher work. So it depends year on year also. The same customer may not be at 3% in the current year, and say coming next year he may have a good order book, so that could increase from 3 to 5% also.
So basically, we are not dependent on some top 1 or top 5 clients.
No.
We are very much diversified.
We are not dependent on any of our customers for any of the volumes.
Yes, sir, that's nice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Very much. Okay.
Thank you, sir. The next question from Mr. Pavan Kumar from Ratnatraya Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, of the vessels that you have chartered to the operations player, at what time were the majority of the vessels chartered?
What? I'm so sorry. I didn't get your question.
Yeah. I was asking about when were these vessels that are operating chartered to the third party?
We charter on a voyage-to-voyage basis. We are not chartering on a fixed basis for a time charter. I am giving all my vessels on a voyage basis charter, not on a time charter.
Okay.
Once the voyage is complete, I am giving it again for the next voyage.
Okay.
So that we are not bound by any of the contracts of this shipping business.
Okay. And are we buying any new vessels?
Maybe we have plans to add some vessels in the coming year, but that all depends upon opportunity at what rate that we can get a vessel.
Okay, fine.
There are plans to add more vessels for the company.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Our next question from Mr. Milan Shah from Irumil Research Consultants. Please go ahead, sir.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon and very good set of numbers, sir. I want to understand what is the debt on our balance sheet.
Sorry?
Debt. What is our debt? Borrowing.
The total debt in our balance sheet is about 117 crores. And which is totally utilized for working capital. About 96.5 is for the work. 96.5 is used for the working capital of the company.
Okay. And sir, we are importing raw material from overseas. It is any hedge for currency?
No. I'll answer that. Yeah. Can you come back to the question again, please?
We are importing raw material from overseas. So have you hedged currencies for that?
Yeah. We do not hedge any currency because we are purchasing on an import basis, and the costing is based on when the vessel is landing into India. The product, when it is being discharged at the port, the costing is done when the product is landing at the port, and the product is sold after the pricing and the exchange rate is considered.
Okay, so we have to not worry about currency.
No, there is no, because even if you do not hedge, the pricing of bitumen changes according to fortnight on the basis of dollar. That dollar is moving.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And wish you best luck for next quarter and growth.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Lalit Agarwal, MD of Agarwal Industrial Corporation Limited, for closing comments.
Thank you. Thank you so much to all the participants for joining the call. I hope we have been able to satisfactorily respond to your questions. It was a pleasure to interact with you and get your queries addressed to your satisfaction. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact us. Thank you once again, and we look forward to connecting with you in next quarter. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the conference call. Thank you for joining. You may disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a good evening, everyone.